and welcome to Tactically Torah. I am Heath Hayes, and today is day 25. Wow, day 25. And we are reading Exodus 22, 23, and 24. We're on page 80 in the scriptures if you want to follow along. So let's get to it. When a man steals an ox or a sheep and shall slaughter it or sell it, he repays 5 cattle for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. Wow. If the thief is found breaking in and he is struck so that he dies, there is no guilt for his bloodshed. If the sun has risen on him, there is guilt for his bloodshed. He shall certainly repay. If he has not the means, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the theft is indeed found alive in his hand, whether it's an ox or a donkey or a sheep, he repays double. When a man lets a field or a vineyard be grazed bare, and lets loose his livestock, and it feeds in another man's field, he repays from the beast of his own field and the best of his own vineyard. Wow. When fire breaks out and spreads to thorn bushes, so that stacked grain or standing grain or the field is consumed, he who kindled the fire shall certainly repay. When a man gives silver or goods to his neighbor to guard, and it is stolen out of the man's house, if the thief is found, he repays double. If the thief is not found, then the master of the house shall be brought before Elohim to see whether he has put his hand into his neighbor's goods. For every matter of transgression, for ox, for donkey, for sheep, for garment, or for whatever is lost, which another claims to be his, let the matter of them both come before Elohim, and whomever Elohim declares wrong repays double to his neighbor. When a man gives to his neighbor a donkey or ox or sheep or any beast to watch over, and it dies or is injured or is driven away while no one is looking, let an oath of Yahweh be between them both, that he has not put his hand to his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept that, and he does not repay. But if it is indeed stolen from him, he repays it to his owner. If it is torn to pieces, then let him bring it for evidence. He does not repay what was torn. And when a man borrows from his neighbor, and it is injured or dies while the owner of it is not present, he shall certainly repay. But if its owner was with it, he does not repay. If it was hired, he is entitled to the hire. And when a man entices a maiden who is not engaged and lies with her, he shall certainly pay the bride price for her to be his wife. If her father absolutely refuses to give her to him, he pays according to the bride price of maidens. Do not allow a practicer of witchcraft to live. Anyone lying with a beast shall certainly be put to death. He who slaughters to an Elohim except to Yahweh only is put under the ban. Do not tread down a sojourner or oppress him, for you were sojourners in the land of Mitzrayim. Do not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you do afflict them at all, if they cry out to me at all, I shall certainly hear their cry, and my wrath shall burn, and I shall kill you with the sword. Your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. If you do lend silver to any of my people, the poor among you, you are not to be like the one who lends on interest to him. Do not lay interest on him. If you take your neighbor's garment as a pledge at all, you are to return it to him before the sun goes down. Uh, for that is his only covering. It is his garment for his skin. What does he sleep in? And it shall be that when he cries to me, I shall hear, for I show favor. Do not revile an Elohim, nor curse a ruler of your people. Do not delay giving your harvest and your vintage. Give me the firstborn of your sons. Likewise you are to do with your oxen, with your sheep. It is to be with its mother 7 days, and on the 8th day you give it to me. And you are to set apart men to me, and you do not eat any meat which is torn to pieces in the field. You throw it to the dogs. Chapter 23. Do not bring a false report. Do not put your hand with the wrong to be a malicious witness. Do not follow a crowd to do evil, nor bear witness in strife so as to turn aside after many, to turn aside what is right. Do not favor a poor man in his strife. When you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall certainly return it to him. When you see the donkey of him who hates you lying under its burden, you shall refrain from leaving it to him. You shall certainly help him. Do not turn aside the right ruling of your poor in his strife. Keep yourself far from a false matter, and do not kill the innocent and the righteous, for I do not declare the wrong right. And do not take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the seeing one and twists the words of the righteous. And do not oppress a sojourner, as you yourselves know the heart of a sojourner, because you were sojourners in the land of Mitzrayim. And for 6 years you are to sow your land, and shall gather its increase, but the 7th year you are to let it rest, and shall leave it. And the poor of your people shall eat, and what they leave, the beasts of the field eat. Do the same with your vineyard and your olive yard. 6 days you are to do your work, and on the 7th day you rest, in order that your ox or donkey might rest, and the son of your female servant, and the sojourner be refreshed. And in all that I have said to you, take heed, and make no mention of the name of other mighty ones. Let it not be heard from your mouth. 3 times in the year you are to celebrate a festival to me. Guard the festival of Matzot, which is unleavened bread. We are in that now. 7 days you are to eat unleavened bread, as I command you, at the time appointed in the new moon of Abib. For in it you came out of Mitzrayim, and you do not appear before me empty-handed. And the festival of the harvest, the first fruits of your labors, which you have sown in the field, and the festival of the ingathering at the outgoing of the year, when you have gathered the fruit of your labors from the field. 3 times in the year all your males are to appear before the Master Yahweh. Do not slaughter the blood of my slaughterings with leavened bread, and the fat of my festival shall not remain until morning. Bring the first of the first fruits of your land into the house of Yahweh your Elohim. Do not cook a goat in its mother's milk. See, I am sending a messenger before you to guard you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Be on guard before him and obey his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he is not going to pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. See, I believe he's referring to Yeshua. But if you diligently obey his voice, and shall do all that I speak, then I shall be an enemy to your enemies, and a distresser to those who did distress you. For my messenger shall go before you, and shall bring you into the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I shall cut them off. Do not bow down to their mighty ones, nor serve them, nor do according to their works, but without fail overthrow them, and without fail break down their pillars. And you shall serve Yahweh your Elohim, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and I shall remove sickness from your midst. None shall miscarry or be barren in your land. I shall fill the number of your days. I shall send my fear before you, and cause confusion among all the people to whom you come, and to make all your enemies turn their backs to you. And I shall send hornets before you, which shall drive out the Hivite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite from before you. And I shall not drive them out from before you in 1 year, lest the land become a waste, and the beast of the field become too numerous for you. Little by little I shall drive them out from before you, until you have increased and you inherit the land. And I shall set your border from the Sea of Reeds to the Sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness to the river. For I shall give the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out from before you. Do not make a covenant with them, nor with their mighty ones. Let them not dwell in the land, lest they make you sin against me when you serve their mighty ones, when it becomes a snare to you. Wow. It doesn't even say if, it says when. Chapter 24. And to Moshe he said, Come up to Yahweh, you and Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And you shall bow yourselves from a distance, but Moshe shall draw near to Yahweh by himself, and let them not draw near, nor let the people go up with him. And Moshe came and related to the people all the words of Yahweh, and all the right rulings of the people, answered with one voice and said, All the words which Yahweh has spoken we shall do. And Moshe wrote down all the words of Yahweh, and rose up early in the morning, and built a slaughter place at the foot of the mountain, and the 12 standing columns of the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, and they offered ascending offerings and slaughterings of peace offerings to Yahweh of bulls. And Moshe took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half the blood he sprinkled in the slaughter place, or on the slaughter place. He took the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people, and they said, All that Yahweh has spoken we shall do and obey. And Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, See the blood of the covenant which Yahweh has made with you concerning all these words. And Moshe went up, also Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the Elohim of Israel, and under his feet like a paved work of sapphire stone, and like heavens for brightness. Yet he did not stretch out his hand against the chiefs of the children of Israel. And they saw Elohim, and they ate and drank. They saw Yah, and Yah did not strike them. He's so merciful. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Come up to me on the mountain, and be there, while I give you tablets of stone, and the Torah, and the command which I have written to teach them. And Moshe rose up with his assistant to Yehoshua, and Moshe went up to the mountain of Elohim. And he said to the elders, Wait here for us until we come back to you. And see, Aaron and Hur are with you. Whoever has matters, let him go to them. And Moshe went up to the mountain, and the cloud covered the mountain, and the esteem of Yahweh dwelt on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it for 6 days. And on the 7th day he called to Moshe out of the midst of the cloud. And the appearance of the esteem of Yahweh was like a consuming fire on the top of the mountain for the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moshe went into the midst of the cloud and went up into the mountain. And it came to be that Moshe was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. All right. It's 22, 23, and 24. Tomorrow, I believe we get into 25 through 27. Shalom.